Welcome to the podcast. This week's conversation is inspiring, elevating, empowering, and of course, enlightening. We are glad that you made the time to just watch what we have in store for you, and hopefully this conversation gets to elevate your lives in one way or the other. Maria Kimeto, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You look wonderful. You do.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you. I found you through LinkedIn not too long ago, and I thought to myself, wow, this could be a fascinating topic, because we hear a lot about relationships that need curing, healing. And what I've read in lots of books is communication is the number one problem. Some people say money, but others say communication is the biggest one. So I saw that nonviolent communication. Like I said to you, it connected me to gender-based violence, which is what we know of, and now this NVC, which you train others in that, subject matter. And because health is a big pillar for this podcast, I thought, this would be a good conversation to have. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And you have a surname that is Kenyan.
Yes.
So tell us how you're German and Kenyan at the same time.
Well, my husband is Kenyan.
Okay.
Yeah, from the area of Kericho.
Okay.
And we met in 2000 when I first came to Kenya. Got married in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I got my name and why this is home, as well as Germany.
Yes, so 12 years. Okay, 12 years, that's a 12-year marital relationship with your husband.
Yes.
So when you came to Kenya the first time, that was at Kenyatta National Hospital?
Came right after high school,
Yes.
actually, and I did attachment first at Aga Khan, then at Kenyatta, and that's where, during that period, we met.
You
actually.
met. What was that experience? So, young girl traveling from Germany to this African country in Kenya. I'm sure you must have heard a lot about Kenya. Your first time here, what was that experience like for you?
To me, it was really very exciting. I loved it from the minute I stepped off the plane, basically.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
I'd been interested before. I'd been reading about it. I'd always read broadly on different cultures, different countries. I'd always had an interest in traveling, exploring new places.
Yeah.
So when I cleared high school, I definitely knew I wanted to go abroad for a period.
Right.
And I had an opportunity through a friend from my school. So I had somebody to host me, actually near the national park. So I was already out in wonderful nature, and I saw the savannah, I saw the animals. So that was quite a good start. But even when I came to town, I went by bus, by matatu, I went to work every day and all that. To me, it just somehow clicked. I really loved it. It was like a glove that fit. It's often hard to explain why, but I somehow loved it.
Yeah. So because of your sense of curiosity then. So, you were curious and you were open to what the world was offering you in that season of your life.
Yes.
Okay. So what brought you here? So internship at Aga Khan. So what exactly were you doing?
I was doing internship with the nurses.
Nursing.
Yes. It's actually a requirement for a medical degree in Germany. You can do it later, but I chose to do it earlier. Okay. So I was just doing things with the nurses, with the orderlies, serving food, making beds, those kinds of things.
Yeah. Did you always want to be a doctor?
I had several ideas of what I could do, but being a doctor always came back. It kept coming back.
Okay.
So
what was your background like as a child growing up?
My parents were doctors as well. Yeah,
okay.
So actually on my dad's side, there are many doctors. So I always saw how he conducts and what he told us of his work in the clinic.
Yeah.
My mom comes from a farming and milling background, but she's also a medical doctor.
So you were surrounded by doctors?
Quite a bit, yes.
Okay.
Quite a bit.
Okay, so it was natural that you were fascinated or interested or curious about that field.
Somehow, I guess so. I always tend to believe I had my own approach to it, but
Yes.
definitely it must have shaped me.
Yeah.
In a way, I had other ideas. I had ideas of being a jeweler, different kinds of things. But yeah, somehow I always had a curiosity about medicine, how to treat
People.
conditions,
Yeah.
how to treat diseases,
Yeah.
and I always thought it would be a valuable way of contributing, improving people's lives in a way. And yeah, I always thought as well it could be rather global. I thought it would be easy to do it in different places. Little did I know that if you really want to work in another country, you have to obtain licenses and all that. But to me, it looked like something rather global. It doesn't keep you to one country the way
Yes.
maybe being a lawyer would.
Yeah. So you like no constraints, because
Yes.
ultimately it's about helping people, helping to heal what could be ailing them, etc.
Yes, kind of like that.
Okay. Why the specialty in family medicine?
That took a while actually, because I was really deep into internal medicine.
What's internal medicine?
Internal medicine is mostly about maybe cardiology, nephrology, about whatever pertains to the internal organs, to say broadly.
Okay.
And I like that quite a bit, but it's often bound to either hospital setup, or it requires, or as you progress, you might end up really subspecializing. And I always had a very broad interest. I always had an interest in most of the fields. And additionally, I like the communication part of medicine, the part where you kind of walk with the patient, you take them through whatever needs to be done, you come to maybe even to a decision together, all those things. So they really reflect very well with family medicine, because it's broader. And in Germany, family medicine is very strong.
Okay.
Actually, almost everyone has a family doctor where they go to first. So it's really from treating colds and flus to final stages of life, to it includes mental health. So it basically it incorporates all the fields, but at a more basic level.
Okay.
And then you might refer to specialists. So with my broader interest,
Yes.
it seemed to be a good fit.
Yeah, you felt that that's what, you'll be more impactful if it's family medicine.
Yes, and it fits my interests and my approach very well.
Okay, so when you did your internship here in Kenya, did you go back to Germany, or you stayed on here?
No, I went back.
Okay.
I went back. Even I went back to start my university, to start studying. So when it was a to and fro actually. I kept coming back, mainly based in Germany, but most of my holidays were spent here when we closed school. Yeah.
Okay, so what you said earlier about not feeling like you're constrained to just one or two countries, but then you came to Kenya, fell in love with Kenya, the country, and so the possibilities also of just starting a family. So then it became Germany and Kenya home.
Yes, actually.
So did you attempt to explore other countries, or those two were enough?
We've done a bit of traveling, especially in Europe, but actually I'd like to do more somehow.
Okay.
Yes, somehow it's been quite a bit of Germany and Kenya, but yeah, a bit of holidays and travels.
Oh, okay, not work, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's still more to explore.
Yes.
But I'm sure it will come up.
Yes, but I mean, Kenya there's way too much to explore here.
Yes, definitely. There's also been so much to explore.
Yeah.
Very true.
So how did you integrate into the Kenyan culture? I know, of course, you've been here more than a decade, but just those first few years, what was that integration process like? Because our cultures are very different. When I say ours, I mean Germany's, and even within just one country could have many different subsets of cultures, right? Yes. So in your case, just settling down here, what are some of the things you did to just integrate with the community that you settled in?
Actually, I think at my age, it was very easy because I came when I was 20. So people always looked at me like, they said, oh, Maria is such a baby. So they somehow kept inviting me.
Okay.
So people kept inviting me, maybe whether it's going to Machakos, going to Meru, to their homes. So I used to visit people from Huruma to Runda, different places.
Yes.
I think I've always felt, due to my young age actually, it would probably be very different if I started out now.
Yeah.
But that really allowed me to bridge many limitations that might otherwise be there.
Yeah.
So let's say from the orderly to the group facilitator, I made friends. And that really helped. And then I stayed at the hostels. I stayed at the YWCA.
Okay.
So again, there were so many age mates. It was actually very easy to make friends.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you're right, the youthful factor.
Yes.
You know, when you're young, you know, you trust a bit more, you know, there's trusting, you're curious, you're adventurous. So you had all of that. It was open for you to receive the people who welcomed you into their homes.
Yes.
Okay, so we come to now this topic that you train people in, nonviolent communication. What brought about the need for you? What did you look at or see that made you decide, I think there's room here for me to just bring the knowledge I have to shift mindsets around this topic, which is communication?
I think it started by creeping into my own life somehow.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to know about it in 2009, somewhere around there. And it was just simple. I think my mother gave me a book by Marshall Rosenberg, and I read it. It resonated with me. I could see how it would actually make a difference. And then I attended a class, and I could start applying some things in my life, and I noticed the difference it makes. So it's just been something I did for myself in the beginning, and I saw the difference it made in my personal life. Then, as I started practicing medicine, it became something I applied. Just definitely in family medicine, there's a lot of talking. People come with their life issues, so it helps when you are able to relate to feelings and needs, to understand people better, more easily, and also to help them somehow get clarity on what's going on. Then sometimes I found myself maybe sharing with friends and family. I found myself maybe sharing more deeply about it with a patient. I'd maybe do kind of a one-on-one where they're aware of what we are doing, and it seemed so helpful. People would say, oh wow, I've reconnected with myself, I'm more present, they understand what's going on, clarity. So I noticed, this could help. Yeah, I could maybe incorporate it more. And then I had that idea of, I'd like to pass it on. I'd like to let others benefit as well.
Yeah.
And I just enjoyed it, to be honest. It's one of those things where I think, even if nobody paid me for it, I'd still love doing it. So I had that idea.
Yeah.
And then when there was a bit of a change after my daughter had grown up a little bit, and also I got my permanent residence here, which allowed me now to look for work. So it somehow, the time seemed right.
Yes.
I noticed that even some of the trainings I had done serve as a bit of a qualification, which I hadn't looked at that time. So somehow the time seemed right. Everything kind of came together. My desire to contribute in that way, my joy of doing it, as well as the circumstances.
This episode is in partnership with Novotel Nairobi Westlands.
So it all aligned at the same time, somehow.
Yes, definitely.
So you gave an example just there, which I want to draw on, like when someone will come, whether it's your friends, and you'd sort of apply or test it, or just take them through, something. What was that? So if it was me, for example, and I come to you, and maybe I do not even know that I am a violent communicator. Is that how to say it?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You don't need to label yourself as that. It's just sometimes we use language that kind of doesn't foster connection, that stands in the way of connection.
Give me an example of that.
Of language that stands in the way.
Yes.
For example, moralistic judgments. Anytime we say things like she's lazy, he's an idiot, or even worse, they're rats. Those kinds of things, or she procrastinates, that's already, it goes in the direction of where we won't connect very well, because we look at a person through that lens and probably treat them accordingly.
So what I hear you saying, because you brought up the issue of lenses, I kind of understand that language. So you sort of like clean the lens to show them that that's not the language, to show them who they really are and not what's on the lens, more or less.
That's one thing.
Okay.
Actually, it's kind of a framework to help us connecting more compassionately with ourselves and with others. So if someone came to me, it really depends. If they come to me and say, please tell me about nonviolent communication, yes, then I'd share in a more formal manner. But if they maybe just come with an issue, it's more on me to actually listen empathically. I don't have to even tell them. I just try and listen for what exactly is it that happened.
Yeah.
What are the feelings that were brought about by it? What is probably an underlying need that has not been met? What are they trying to request? Yeah, I can listen for it without having to tell them, you know what, it's like this and like that.
Oh, so when you listen and you pick up some of these things, you're like,
Yes.
Then what is your conclusion with this person, with this patient, I think? What do you tell them after that? Because then you don't come right out and say, oh, you were a violent communicator. You don't do that, but you've seen some things. And so how do you handle that sort of scenario with those who come to see you?
It would be more like maybe they tell me an issue they are facing, and I try and maybe address. If I notice it seems in that encounter they are telling me about, they are lacking respect, I can tell. I can say, oh, it sounds like you are lacking respect in that situation. And they'll be like, yes. So it's more like helping someone by empathic listening, helping somebody to walk through their own issue.
So it's more personal before it's collective, if I'm getting this right, or it's both?
It's both, but there is, I won't start by telling someone, listen, this is wrong what you're doing. It's not really about right or wrong as such. It's more about how can we foster a connection. So if somebody comes to me sharing an issue, the best assistance I can give at that moment is to actually listen empathically, to really try and clear out everything. In fact, empathy is used a lot, but in NVC it really means opening ourselves to the other person, clearing out whatever is going on, whatever preformed opinions I might have, whatever stresses of I have a meeting here, I still need to do these errands, to just clear that out and receive what's alive for the other person. See, okay, your husband said this, so it was about that, and then maybe say, okay, it sounds like you were frustrated when you had that because you wanted to be appreciated. You needed appreciation for all that you are doing. Something like that. And then somebody gets clarity and relief. In fact, Stephen Covey, who wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he called empathic listening psychological air, because we really crave that. So, and we see is one way of allowing us to know even what to do when we are listening empathically. And we don't always need to express it. We don't, sometimes we just listen quietly, we sense that anger or that grief, that need for belonging or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And it gives people a relief, or ourselves, when we do it with ourselves. We get very relieved, and allows us, when we really come to a need, one of the fundamental needs, something like belonging, shelter, security, then when we really find the one that's relevant in this moment, it allows us to actually come up with strategies much more easily. The spectrum really broadens. So to do that, we don't really need to share theories of NVC or anything like that. We can just listen like that and somebody gets assistance. Then if I want to share more, of course I can tell them that it helps to listen for feelings of need and needs and all that. I can share a bit more of the theory. Then if I conduct workshops, that's when I might expound on these things, when I share about communication patterns that stand in the way of connection, communication patterns that help us to connect more easily and more deeply.
Yes. So it's for relief and for someone to feel like, wow, someone heard me, I was listened to, I feel understood, I feel seen.
Yes, being seen, being heard, those things, yes, definitely.
Yes. So what are these communication patterns? And I'm drawing now from everything that you're enlightening us on. So what are these communication patterns? So let's give case scenarios, for example, between between a husband and a wife. So I have a newly married man. The producer of, he's newly married. Obviously, he's dated for a couple of years, but now, it's marriage. And so marriage is, for him, eternal. So what are these communication patterns that would enhance the quality of his relationship with his wife? What does he need as a married man, newly married, or even just those who have been married for a long time? And when they listen to this, they'll be like, it will go off like, so what are those things that what are those patterns they need to be aware of in a love relationship?
Okay, what helps, there's one thing that's called the 4 components or 4 steps in NVC.
Okay.
That's observation, feelings, needs, and request. So to be aware of those helps greatly because they're always there. When we communicate, somehow they are an undercurrent, but we are rarely aware. Okay. So to be aware and actually apply them helps. Maybe we can try and use an example.
Yes.
Let's say somebody has cooked some food and serving it, and then the person receiving the food says something like, "Oh, so that's what's for dinner." Yeah, you can imagine the trigger this can pose.
Yeah.
So if we are on the receiving end, sometimes we default to things like retaliating, saying, surely you are never satisfied. Even if we go to a very nice restaurant, you'll still find something to complain about. Or we go into ourselves and blame ourselves. Say, oh my God, yes, I'm not a good cook. I'm not a good wife. I should have observed this earlier. I should have cooked more or something different.
Yeah.
We blame ourselves.
Yes.
So if the person shoots back like that, it can easily go into a fight. From a verbal fight even to a physical fight.
Yes.
Or someone really goes into themselves and their self-esteem becomes low. They get feelings of shame and guilt. Yeah, so instead, if we are aware, definitely if a person says something like that, there's something they've observed, right? What have they observed on this plate? Maybe there's peas and they don't eat that. Or maybe there's meat or there's no meat, depending on the scenario, the community. Definitely there's a feeling. Maybe they are disappointed.
Okay.
Definitely there's an underlying need that's right now not met. Maybe it's simply for food, or it could be for consideration. Maybe they wanted their preferences to be considered. And there's a request, maybe for something else that they can eat, or maybe for the future to look at what does somebody eat and not eat, how to incorporate, to look for ways how to incorporate these preferences into the meal plan.
Yes.
So it was there all the way underlying, but we are not looking at it. So if we are aware, we can now, maybe somebody can, let's say if we serve the food and we hear that comment, we can say, okay, is it about the fact that there's peace? Are you disappointed because you wanted your preferences to be considered? Or are you disappointed because you really need some food that you can eat, and get satisfied? And then we can look for a way forward. The person can say, yes, that's actually true, or they can say, no, not really. I just wanted to eat, or whatever.
Nulink is a renewable energy products company with 20 years of experience in the renewable energy industry. Nulink designs and builds its own products and also works with partners to build complete solutions. Nulink covers a wide range of products including solar panels, inverters, battery packs, storage cabinets, charging piles, EV chargers, diesel generators and UPS. Nulink focuses on the R&D and production of new energy products. By providing customers with leading safe and efficient energy storage solutions, Nulink accelerates the process of energy reform and helps more people realize economic and social value. Nulink's mission is to provide sustainable energy for the future through innovative storage solutions. For more details, please contact Chris at nulinkhk.com.
So what you have, the example you've given is actually a very common example in many homes.
Yes.
Many homes in our context, where, you know, someone said, is this all, this is all you could do, or something like that, you know.
Yes.
And it sounds even worse if the person saying that is drunk. So it sounds worse because you're like, you should have eaten at the bar, you know. So we have this tendency of, and you've given those scenarios, and now the minute he says that, because it is assumed that it's the wife who cooks in a home, and if you're not the one cooking, then if someone else has cooked, then ultimately the wife takes care of whatever that home is having. But you find the natural reaction will not be that of, oh, did you want to, you didn't want beef, you didn't want chicken. It will be like, I mean, it can be violent even. Like she'll either be quiet or click, you know, like
yes.
Yeah. So, and the man is just left there just mumbling his own things, and the wife goes, and it becomes a daily thing, like you're saying. There's build up. And then the day maybe the woman cooks something that she knows the man will enjoy, maybe the man doesn't come home in time to even eat that food. So I like that the examples are very, very practical. When it comes to the solutions, before the reaction, the words are given, because words are very powerful, before the response is given, because the immediate response for most women is to hit back with an equally bad answer, or to walk away, or the really nice, nice ones, the ones who do not want conflict in the home, will maybe apologize or say, I'll do better tomorrow, but they've locked it here.
Yes.
If that response continues, then it builds up, and ultimately you have a very weak home or a very weak relationship. So what are the ways in which you can mend them? Practical ways in which you can mend that rift, that trigger, that, a woman watching will be like, oh, I can do that. And most of the time, what we do is just walk away. Like, let him just talk to himself, or he can get into the kitchen and cook. So what are those practical things that, we do in that scenario to mend as opposed to?
I think a first thing in this case might be for her, now we are assuming it's the woman, to self-empathize. Because definitely that's a trigger. She has somehow gone to an extent to prepare a meal.
Yes.
Whatever was, she has tried, right?
Yes.
She has done something. So to hear that is a trigger. So she might, once we are triggered, it's very hard to listen to somebody else. Yeah, we can't create that room when we are so full of emotions, so full, when we are so triggered. So she can actually, maybe she might walk away, or she looks at it in a quiet moment to see what does it do to her. So in this case, again, we have an observation. The observation is the sentence she hears. This is all you could do. Or is this the dinner, really? This is the observation. What is she feeling? Maybe she's really sad, or she's disappointed. Because what does she need? Maybe she needs appreciation for what she does, for all that she does. So she can first give that to herself, or do it with a friend, or with, maybe if she had come to me, we can do it together.
Yes.
Yeah, we go through that together, we walk through it. And then to see how can she try and fulfill that need. So options come up. Obviously, she can't come and rewire him to immediately spur out appreciation. But she can look at it and maybe she can actually appreciate herself. She can look at what she's doing every day and give herself some appreciation. Acknowledge that she's doing this.
Yeah.
And then maybe later, when tension has diffused, there can be a conversation about appreciation in the home. But she would also have to requesting, it would be important that she gets clear on what constitutes appreciation for her. Because we can tell someone, I need appreciation, and they're really at a loss what to even do.
Yeah.
That's a very, we can come to that even later. There's vague language also standing in the way very often. But for now, yeah, she can give herself empathy maybe, or get it from elsewhere. And then once she has enough release, she can now look at what is it he needed. She can apply it and ask for him, say, oh, are you disappointed because you want your preferences to be considered? Something like that can now come up. And that will, as well, he will get a sense of relief probably, because he's being heard, being seen with his need for maybe consideration, or for the simple fact that he doesn't eat this type of food. He doesn't tolerate it very well, and he needs something that he'll eat and food he'll be comfortable eating. So it can go like that. Obviously, it could as well be on the husband's part here, on the man's part, if maybe he has gotten to know about NVC and he wants to address the fact that the food he's been served is not what's good for him, he could apply it that way and say, oh, I see this has been cooked. Whenever I eat that, I actually get an upset stomach, so I'm really hungry. Is there maybe something else? Or can we talk about some of the foods that I don't eat so well, so that we look for ways in which you can incorporate it more in the meal plan? Then, of course, she'll be much more easy to listen.
Yeah.
Because this actually helps us also to stay on track. Because we have a need here, we want a solution, but we get sidetracked by all these squabbles. We get sidetracked by now talking about why didn't I stay in the bar, or it becomes about maybe you being a person who doesn't appreciate things, or who's a general complainer, or maybe with that money you bring home, what you expect even, it becomes about that. It becomes all sorts of other issues, but the matter at hand, that there's somebody who wants consideration for his preferences and he needs a certain type of food, goes just
all over the place.
Is all over the place and won't be addressed again.
Yeah. So it could be the main thing is the food, or it could be years or time that you have loaded,
Yes. It doesn't always have to be the food. It could be consideration. It could also be that he's looking at the fact that every day when he comes home, there's food that he doesn't like. So he starts it starts being maybe a need for love. He equates that with, if my wife loved me, so the need could be love, the need could be respect. And it's only that person who will really know what the need is. And when we start asking, is it about the food, or is it about respect? It's very okay if we might not sense the right thing, but by just genuinely wanting to connect, opening that conversation, offering something, somebody gets a chance to wait and say, no, actually it's not about that. It's not about the food. It's about respect. I wonder if I'm respected in this home, if this is what's happening. So I lack respect when I see that.
Yes.
And then maybe the other person might be shocked because they never thought it had anything to do with respect.
Yes.
Or maybe there was a misunderstanding. They never knew this food was unfavorable. Maybe it was never talked about. Maybe that's what they ate in their home and they thought it was a good thing.
Yeah.
So it can start a conversation.
Yeah.
Because NVC is really not just about applying some steps. It's really about the genuine willingness to communicate, to get what's going on, what's alive in the moment.
So the things you've said so far, Maria, the place of tone and being vulnerable, we are still in the setup of, personal relationships with our partners or spouses. does tone and vulnerability have a place in NVC?
Okay, about tone,
Yes.
let me talk about them individually.
Yes.
About tone, there's no formal setup about tone, but of course tone can be a trigger. Definitely there's a difference whether I'm shouting something or I'm saying it quietly. So the reaction the person has or what the person feels and the needs that go unmet with this situation would be different. Yeah. Same thing maybe for a sarcastic tone or something. And sometimes it's hard to put a finger on tone. We sometimes can't quite, it's hard sometimes to put it into an observation because it's often also highly subjective. Somebody might say, you've shouted at me, and I might say, I thought I was just maybe talking somewhat animatedly.
Yeah.
So it can be highly subjective as well. And maybe to point out, we can be authentic, even practicing nonviolent communication. It doesn't mean that we are always talking so quietly and gently. We can have energy with what we are saying.
Yeah.
Definitely, the energy that is there may be there. Yeah. So we really can, we can celebrate our feelings as well, and it can be the whole spectrum. So there doesn't have to be a specific tone associated with it. Normally, we can be authentic, but that said, yes, definitely shouting, such things can be major patterns that can block connection. I would definitely say that. And
vulnerability.
Definitely, we make ourselves vulnerable. We get in touch with our vulnerability. At the same time, obviously, we can also choose how vulnerable we make ourselves in a given situation. There's also the need for protection. So there's no obligation to go straight down to the deepest needs if the setup doesn't seem right, if we don't feel safe to open up.
Okay.
Additionally, sometimes it's like peeling an onion. There might be layers of needs. There might be food, then there might be that consideration, respect, and then somewhere down maybe is love. So even for us to arrive at deeper levels, it might take time, and definitely also for another person. So we don't need to dive in with the first one. The best is to just establish connection. And if one seems to resonate, and if the situation has it, we can go deeper as comfortable for everybody. And depending who we are talking to, we might share more or less.
What does the right situation or the right time look like to bring up some of these, I want to call them sensitive conversations, what we consider to be sensitive conversations? What are the best scenarios or the best times? What does that look like? Could you paint a picture for us?
It really depends.
Okay.
It's highly dependable. Generally, anytime it comes up, definitely, anytime we are ready, like if a trigger moment happens and we notice this is something we want to address, and maybe we are quick with our inner work, we are able to be open enough to also hear what the other person has to say, what's alive in them. It might actually ensue any moment that it pops up.
Okay.
If we are choosing it consciously, of course it would be good if it's maybe a quiet moment, a moment when people are relaxed and not rushed, definitely when we have some time. Yes, and above all when we've done maybe, we are open.
Yes.
We are in a frame of mind and emotion where we can do it. If we are so triggered about it, sometimes it might help to get some release fast, either alone or with a friend, with someone, with a counselor, whoever.
Yes.
So it really, I think it's a function maybe of our mindset or where we stand. But it also doesn't mean we have to wait till we are calm, till we can have a conversation.
Okay.
It can actually, generally it could be any moment. It's just,
variables.
I think the things I've mentioned can play a part, but I wouldn't limit to it, because sometimes we might start never having that conversation, because when is the time ever right? Yeah, sometimes it's better to go in with presence, because then that's also when we sense how far we can go. We just try whatever is possible, and when we notice, okay, now I'm about to really blow over and I'm going to say so many things that I'll regret later, I can still ask for a break. I can say, can we shelve this for later? I think I need some time to let all this settle, and we come back to it.
Yes. So because there's no, well, let me not say there's no. You could be ready, you could have done the inner work, you could be in a proper frame of mind, you could be, aware and therefore non-judgmental in how you present your grievance or your trigger to your partner. And your partner, on the other hand, is not at the level you are to receive. Mm-hmm. And so that creates a block, mm-hmm. because, you're not even going like, you're just like, I'm here to give, and I'm also here to receive from you and to hear what you also have to say about this matter. Mm-hmm. So you find sometimes, yes, you could have a, ready, willing partner to listen and to engage. And that leads to agree to disagree, but at least you have both listened to each other. Mm. Or it could lead to your partner doesn't want to even hear that conversation, in which case you who's ready, you choose to wait until the next time, because, even if you talk, there's hitting walls. Or are there means and ways to get your partner who's reading there, maybe just reading a newspaper, there's nowhere he's going today, so he can't wake up and go, it's a Sunday, he's chilling. Mm-hmm. So do you still sit and find ways to get a conversation going, or do you just accept, postpone until the next time?
Depends. Okay. Definitely, it's always helpful to listen first.
Yes.
So if I go in, and even if I've in a certain mindset, if somebody might not be ready to receive, so it's always helpful to receive them first, to understand their side first. Mm-hmm. So that one is something that is really very often an opener.
Yeah.
So definitely, if somebody really doesn't want to talk at all, or really says, please, I don't want to talk now, we might accept.
Okay.
It really depends on the situation. We might accept, definitely. Mm-hmm. We could accept, because otherwise it would be a demand, not a request for a conversation. But we could empathize with what's preventing him from wanting to talk now. Maybe, because definitely if somebody doesn't want something, there is something else they say yes to. So what is he saying yes to right now as he's saying no to our conversation?
Okay.
Is it to rest, or does he want to protect himself? Okay. Is he unsure that this time it'll be more peaceful or more relaxed? Mm-hmm. Has he had so many experiences in the past where it was just a shouting match that would ensue? So those are things we could as well empathize with. And sometimes it would lead to the fact, yes, he needs rest, he needs that peace, and maybe we do it some other time, or it might actually lead to him gaining the confidence that we could talk a little. Yeah. So it's really, we see as we go. Yeah. But it's always important to listen fast. That one, it's just helpful, because if the other person is still so charged, how will they listen to us?
Yeah.
That's why it's important to also be aware of our own ability to receive. When we notice this is really totally waning out and we can't hear them at all right now, that can be a cue to take a break for ourselves. Or depending how fast we are, sometimes we can do it quickly, inwardly, or we might need a break for that, depending.
Okay. So I'll open it up to the crew who has a question. We're looking at you, Mila. Mila, we are all looking at you.
So thank you so much for the conversation. It's very enlightening. So I only have one question. What are some of the small habits that maybe we might apply on our daily life for us to start practicing less effective communication?
Yes, small habits would be to look out the next time you sense something or you come across something that triggers some emotion, to to remember the 4 steps. That underlying this, whatever somebody has said maybe, is something they've observed, something they are feeling, something they're needing, and something they might request. So to start listening out for those things, to notice, okay, what exactly it is that's ticking me off here. There might be so many things going on. Maybe something someone said, the way they looked at you, the way they closed the door as they walked out, to look at what is it, this sentence. Yeah, what feeling has it triggered? And then to notice, okay, maybe it's I'm sad or I'm disappointed. And then to see what need is currently going unmet. So I'm disappointed because I need connection. I wanted to connect with this person and they've somehow just left, for example, yeah? Connection. And then to look at the request. Can I find connection elsewhere? Can I connect with myself first? Can I maybe reach out to the person in a certain way, yeah? To look at those things. So we can even, sometimes just in everyday life, even if it's not the whole process, as it's called, we can maybe notice something and we say, oh, maybe she just needed safety. That helps. Or to just starting to look out for feelings and needs, clear observations, clear requests. Yeah, requests. To imagine if I request, if it was maybe a movie director, would he know what to put on scene? Or would he not know? If I say I need to be understood, that means he still has to call the screenwriter or the playwright and create whole scenes. There's so many options. But if I say, would you be willing to tell me what you understood from what I'm saying? He has the scene, right? Yeah, those are little things we can start applying.
Thank you so much.
So it's a sense of heightened awareness, just basic awareness.
Yeah.
It has to do with awareness, definitely. That's a part, yeah.
And does this awareness start with self first? I like what you said, like, how did that make me feel? Why am I feeling that way? Does
Yes.
it?
Yes. In fact, the part of make me feel is, it can mislead us a little because it gives the impression that the cause is out there. Whereas we are more looking at the causes, it's a trigger, but it's within me because I have that need and it's getting triggered.
Yeah. So before I shouldn't even be saying I'm blaming this person for making me feel this way. I should be saying, I felt this way when he or she said this. Why? Is that a better question?
That's actually a better question. It empowers us also because my need for whatever was not met. My need for belonging was not met. Because imagine...
Do I go or do you go? It's starting to land.
Okay, I was thinking of an example to make it clearer, but you may go as
so when
well.
we say my need for love or affirmation or attention was not met by your action or by your words, or is it a need at present, or is it a need that stems from my childhood growing up? What could it be?
Oh, it's a need at present. It's
present.
always a need at present,
Okay.
but obviously what triggers us and what triggers this need being so unmet at the moment there can be an influence. Our patterns get shaped definitely by our past.
Yes.
So what triggers me might not trigger you, depending on what we've experienced.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's always in the moment. What's alive in the moment? And maybe to expound on the part of where's the root of the feeling. Yeah, the root is usually considered the need is the root, not what the person is saying. Because sometimes we give so much power to other people by saying this person made me feel this way. Yeah, but when we look at it, maybe if we have a scenario where we say, let's say we've agreed with a friend they're to come over and at a certain time and we go over a career move we are trying to do because they're already in the field, they can give us insights. So imagine scenario 1, you're ready. You're all set, laptop open, paper, pen, kids elsewhere, eaten, freshened up. and now the friend sends a text saying, listen, I can't make it right now, can we do it in 2 hours? We might be maybe surprised, even disappointed, because we wanted to progress.
Right.
We wanted clarity on how to move forward. So needs we had were progress, clarity, maybe something like that. We are disappointed.
Yes.
Scenario 2, or an additional scenario could be, maybe we feel insecure because we need emotional security in this relationship. Even maybe self-worth, because we are wondering, are people taking us seriously? Are people valuing us? And we take it to be lacking self-worth at that moment.
Yes.
So these are already 2 options, how we might feel and what needs might be unmet. But if we are very secure in the relationship or in ourselves, that might not be a part of what we are feeling and needing. Or alternative, time is approaching, we've had a very busy day, we've been rushing around, we've just gotten home, would love to freshen up, love to eat, kids all over the place, we need to settle them somewhere, and we really wish for some just time to get all these other needs met. Now if this friend texts and says, I'll be 2 hours late, might we not even be relieved? Like, thank God. Let me get food, clean up, create a space where I can actually concentrate, So same scenario, appointment, objective of the meeting, text message that postpones, very different reaction on our part.
Yes.
So that's why it's not really what this person is doing, it's what's going on for us at the moment.
Inside us. Okay.
What need we have when this happens.
I'll still come to you guys. Let me just stretch something you've said. A need that wasn't met. Is the onus on us to meet our needs, or do we place so much weight on others to meet those needs? And should there be, there's a phrase you said, sometimes we give people too much power and yet the work should be us doing the work inside. So with that and meeting needs, around that subject of meeting needs, is it a Catherine thing? Like, Catherine, if you felt this way, deal with yourself. Sit with yourself, look in the mirror, meditate or go play or go for a walk and figure out what is going on inside you. Or, Catherine, sit down with your partner and have him understand, this is a need, you let me down today. You man, you let me down today. So which one is it? Are both okay, or are they mutually exclusive?
Definitely there's both.
Okay.
Although the part of you let me down, again, what would it trigger? It would probably bring up, but I didn't, I was not even aware. Do you remember all the things I did for you? Didn't I accompany you to wherever the other day? How do you say I let you down? It would rather go into conflict. So definitely it is usually, when we look at it this way, it means we are responsible for our feelings and needs.
Yes.
And also for the fulfillment of our needs. But definitely that said, and only us can really understand what our need is. Somebody else can help us. Definitely somehow somebody else actually listening empathically can really assist us in getting to the bottom of some things. But it's still us. It might sound sensible, but it's not what we are needing, and we sense it. When we got it, there is that sense of relief. And that's something nobody else can do from outside, just because it's logic. It's for us. But definitely we'll also go to the other person. If there's something with the other person, if it's a conflict or something that constantly triggers us, or maybe something we just like to address, maybe this food that's being served, or a way somebody is talking to us that keeps triggering, or maybe a strategy they use is just not something we want to accept. So definitely we'll go to him and address it, yes. That is still there, putting a request to someone and Yeah. Also maybe trying, sometimes when we've understood what happens within us, we actually get curious. What's behind this? Why is this person acting like that?
Yeah.
Because definitely, if somebody acts in a certain way, there's a need he's trying to meet. Maybe it's not very effective, or it infringes on my needs, but somehow somebody is trying to meet a need.
Right.
So we might get curious actually and try and find out. And yes, of course, if we want a relationship where there is connection, where we understand each other, I want to share what's going on, what happens when I hear this,
yes.
or when I see this.
Yes.
And then we can put forward a request. What would you be willing to do it differently, or explore ways at least of doing it differently?
Yeah. There's something you said earlier on, which is to do with, if you say to, and I know we are really stuck on this communication, nonviolent communication in relationships. When you said, someone says, I don't feel loved, and then the other person says, huh? So their version of expressing love is totally different from your version. You don't see eye to eye. So there's a way you phrased it, like when you say you want time, what does that look like? How can I make that tangible? For like, what do you mean? You know. So most people maybe go on the defensive. But I'm always here. I'm always here. I come home from work every day. I don't even go anywhere on the weekends. What do you mean you want time with me? I'm always here. And maybe what the other partner wants is, I don't know, maybe date night. They want to go out on a date, or they want a vacation, a staycation somewhere. So speak to us, just elaborate more on that point.
I think there were a number of things in what you said where I thought I could start from, but maybe you could.
So where one partner, yes, they're communicating, and they're communicating well, but what it means for me is not how you.
Yes. That's mostly the part of requesting. Yeah, a clear request.
Clear request.
Yes.
Okay.
So it would really be, what can the movie director do to really say, I would like to, could we go on a vacation together? Would you be willing? To actually put it out there, or would you be willing to do a date night once a week? Those kinds of things. And again, there's something you mentioned that I'd like to expound on as well.
Which one?
It was to feel loved.
Yes.
That's actually when in NVC, when we look at feelings, so it would more be maybe a need for love. Love is more of a need. To feel loved is sometimes it's referred to as pseudo feelings.
Okay.
So feelings usually are looked at the actual feelings, like what we can also, mostly we can sense them even in our bodies. So it's really like sad. So when I think, it's more a thought, not being loved.
Oh.
Yeah, feel loved, it's something I need another person for. It's not something that would happen on my own. It's really somehow, when we say I don't feel loved in this scenario, I've invited another person in. So this is kind of more of a thought.
Okay.
I think he does this, he does not love me. So maybe I feel sad, I feel disappointed, I might feel lonely. Those would be the actual feelings beneath.
Okay.
And then, I'm wanting love. Sometimes it becomes very clear, and we really get the sense of being very vulnerable with this. So it's sometimes not as easy to bring it forward. Yes, but...
So it's to say I'm wanting love, not to say I'm not feeling loved.
Yes, because the feeling would be I'm lonely, maybe, or whatever it is, we have to see, maybe sad.
Yes. So Maria, do you find in your practice, in your line of work, based also on the many years of experience, just training NVC, training others in nonviolent communication, do you find that the subject matter perhaps revolves more around interpersonal relationships, or are there other clusters, subtopics that people, that you train in, apart from man-to-woman relationship?
Oh no, it's definitely not confined to man-to-woman relationship at all, actually. It
Okay.
is in any interaction we have. Anywhere where, in fact, it permeates your life, definitely. You can't just try and practice it at home, but in other circumstances you don't. So definitely it's within the families, definitely with ourselves, but with any friend, relative, even at work,
Yeah.
it can be adapted to any setup. Wherever people interact,
Yes.
it would apply.
Yes. So in your case, and without even mentioning names or whatever, you find where are the most, where is the most concern when it comes to NVC? Is it in relationships, or what do you find is heavier?
It's really, frankly, it's hard to tell,
Yeah.
because it could also be work relationships.
Okay.
That is quite a bit.
Yeah.
It could be in parenting. It can be definitely relationships, marital or whatever,
Yes.
romantic relationships. But even with parents, with maybe a relative, yes, at work as well. Of course, NVC is also used in mediation. It's used worldwide in conflict zones. So there are really all sorts of setups
Yeah.
where it can apply.
Yeah. Okay, Dennis, it's your turn to ask a question. Finally. Yes.
So how do you deal with violent communication from your superiors, as your bosses, people who you can't talk back, or you can't get the chance to discuss it? If it's your spouse, if she's mad, you can just leave her, then later on you can have the discussion. But for your superiors, you may never get that chance. So how do you deal with that, because it affects you?
Okay, first, if it affects you, you could start by looking at what it's doing to you. You look at what has the person said, what feelings were triggered. Maybe you're scared because you need security. You really want to keep that job because it's your security, and yeah, you start by yourself, and then a next step could actually be try and, if you really can't talk to the person, you can even try it for yourself. You think, okay, when he says that, what might it be that he's trying to achieve? Yeah, what maybe is he concerned because he really wants to be sure that maybe there's a certain deadline, and he wants to be sure that he can be reliable to the client, something like that. Maybe it's about reliability, he's worried, or it's about quality and excellence, he wants a certain standard of work or something like that. Yeah, maybe there must be something under a need he's trying to meet when he does whatever he does. So that can, even before you've ever talked, it can already create a bit of understanding. Then from whatever the situation was, now maybe you can see if there's a way forward, actually. Whatever you wanted, to try and see if there maybe is actually a way of talking to him. Yeah, because sometimes once we've worked through this, options open up. And in fact, when we think we have found what the need is and options don't open up, probably we've not really found the need.
What's the difference between emotional intelligence and you having to pretend at that moment when there's a heated conversation and your spouse is above you emotionally, in terms of maybe they are angry at that point, and now you need to pretend, not that you're not mad at the same time, so that you can easily cruise that point. Is it emotional intelligence, or is it okay to pretend sometimes so that you don't have heated conversations? Is it healthy, even?
I'm not sure, did I get it right? You're saying maybe there's an emotionally charged situation,
Yes.
and what would you pretend? What
In
would,
this case,
yeah?
let's say she's frustrated,
Mm-hmm.
and perhaps you're also frustrated
Mhm.
at the same
Yes.
time, but you need to sort this
Mhm.
situation. So in this case, is it healthy for me to pretend that I'm not mad, so that we may not have loud screams in the house, or that we're just trying to sort an issue, and then most of the times you might end up being the person who goes down, so that at least you may not be at par.
Yeah, to not make it.
Yes, is it even healthy at the end of the day?
I think pretending might come with other issues attached, actually. It might not get us in the direction we want to go in. Because what are we trying? We are trying for a peaceful interaction. We are trying to foster understanding, right? So if we pretend, we basically take ourselves out. We also block. We block, we close, but in a different way. Easier might be, why do you need to pretend? Maybe you can as well say, listen, I'm also angry, but I really don't want this to end up where it seems to be going. Let us take a break, or let me step out briefly. We come back when we've cooled down a bit. Yeah, and then you can maybe relax a bit, and when you see it might be the mood has cooled, then you go back to the conversation. I think it's even, wouldn't she understand more easily, because then she can relate to you. She knows, okay, he's also emotional right now, but he doesn't want this to get out of hand. Then at least some connection is maintained more than when you pretend.
So you're not ignoring what you're feeling, but you're just saying, I feel this way as well, but let me take a break, we'll come back.
Yes, just to take a breather. They would
Yes.
say, well, sometimes we just need a break to
Yeah.
get back, and also to change the direction of where it's going. If we are seeing in this setup, all that we are just going down a path I don't want to go, let us step back for a minute,
Yes.
cool down individually, talk to someone, do our inner work, whatever works, and then come back after a while.
Because failure to do that then is what leads to now the gender-based violence. That's where now it can get physical.
It could, definitely, depending on the setup, it could definitely get physical, yes. Additionally, if you, maybe to still continue, if you have the presence at the moment, you could as well see if you can open up to try and receive what's actually going on. Yeah, to acknowledge her anger, to try and see what need is it that was not met for her. Yeah, and if she notices you're actually getting it, yeah, then it might also really diffuse things so that you can get to a point where you can both share what's going on.
Okay.
So it's also about self-awareness, to notice, do I have the presence? Can I receive what's going on for her? Or am I too charged as well? And we best take a breather.
Yeah, self-awareness. So we've been talking about NVC for the last 1 hour. We need to explain what NVC is, in simple practical terms. To those who may not, we could make the assumption that when people just hear nonviolent communication, they know what that is. But in just simple practical terms, what is nonviolent communication?
I think it's a way of, or when Marshall Rosenberg came up with it, he, from what he put down in the books and said, it is more of a framework, or he put it together to help us to reconnect with our compassionate nature. That by being humans, we like receiving and giving compassionately, we like connecting. And somehow we seem to have lost that sometimes. So this is a way of helping us empathically connecting with each other.
Okay. What are your hobbies? How do you decompress?
I really love being in nature.
Okay.
Nature walks is really one of my defaults when I need to decompress. I love exploring new places.
Okay.
And I love reading broadly.
What kind of books do you enjoy reading?
I love biographies, travel logs,
Okay.
even novels.
Yeah.
Rather broadly regarding novels, and even, those maybe around psychology, such things.
Yeah. So when we have this conversation 5 years from now, how will you have grown this vision and the work that you're doing both here in Kenya and in Germany? What's the vision for your practice as far as helping people is concerned?
Yeah, I think for my practice, it would still be mostly concentrating on outpatient in our setup, definitely. And for nonviolent communication, to still be facilitating seminars. Currently training a school, and I would like to do that more, but also working with other organizations.
Yes. And those watching who would like to get in touch with you, are you accessible?
Yes, I'm accessible.
Yes.
Social media-wise, I'm mainly on LinkedIn. Via email.
What's your email?
Kimeto-im.com.
Contact at Kimeto
im.com.
Okay.
Yes.
So LinkedIn, you go by which names?
Irmingard Maria Kimeto.
Okay, cool. So you said we first be aware, observe. Observe, request, feel.
Identify what's the feeling that's triggered by the observation, because what is the underlying need?
Yes.
And then we can formulate a request from there.
Okay. Observe, feel, need, request. Those are the 4.
Those are components, yes.
Yes.
It is not limited to it.
No.
It definitely has also that belief that we are always trying to meet a need, that people genuinely want to contribute.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something around, but this is kind of the framework that helps us doing it in everyday life.
Good.
And it can be done silently as well. Maybe that's important to note.
Okay.
When it doesn't seem so acceptable to talk about it, we can as well just try and sense what is going on. What's this person feeling and needing?
Okay.
And there'll be a reaction. We'll notice a difference.
Okay, so that's different from silent treatment.
Oh yes, definitely. Silent treatment is more where we kind of shut off communication. We say, I don't want to talk to you. But silent empathy is actually where you are talking and I'm sensing, I'm noticing, okay, there's something she saw, and I'm sensing the frustration, maybe the loneliness, the need for companionship and belonging, and I'm just sensing it, but I don't necessarily have to ask sometimes.
Yeah. So does body language have a part to play with that? No?
Yes, we probably pick from those little cues. I mean, even more of what we communicate is body language and the non-spoken than what we actually say.
Okay. Well, Maria Kimeto, thank you so much for coming to our podcast today.
Thank you too. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure for me.
Yeah, thank you. We know you have been enlightened because here in studio, so have we. And to reach Maria, just find her on LinkedIn, or her email address is now on screen, and she's open to personal, meetings or other consultations, and also organizations can also, utilize her skill set in nonviolent communication. This is What's Your Story Africa podcast. I'm Catherine Mwangi. Until the next conversation, it's goodbye.